We gotta go. Yes, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We're
We're live.
live. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Loser. Ding, 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 ding. This is turnbuckle time.
You have that sound effect. You could play the ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
I know, dog. If wishes were fishes, we'd all be in the ocean. Um, does that
Ding, ding,
feel better?
ding. Yeah. Or let's all take a deep breath. Just get this show started.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Well, welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Hammer. Roy Hammer. How are you doing this morning, Hammer?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I've officially put myself on notice because if this happens again, who's gonna say? I think I'm gonna have to face sanctions by the ding 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 corporate office. We'll have to take it to a vote,
Yeah.
but
What would we be voting on?
How much money I owe for the fine. I should get fined.
Ding, ding, ding court.
Yeah, honestly, I should get fined. I should get fined for this.
Yeah, sure. Hey,
Just to let everyone know, I played Zelda a little late last night to 12:30, 1 o'clock. That's not unnatural.
No,
that's not unnatural. And I was supposed to wake up early so I could get a really cool setting where I was going to have a big whiteboard behind me, and I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to have a great camera and it was going to be great.
It's going to be great next week. Well, I don't know. Next week's going to be tough. We can discuss this off air technically, but should we be doing a show next week?
Yeah,
because you're going to be coming back from Wrestlemania. Are you going to be?
Yeah, I'm. Well, okay? Roy, I've got to grow up by next week. Everyone, jump in the chat. Tell us how you're doing. Let us know what's going on. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Ding 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 Loser Leaves Wrestling Turnbuckle Time. We're here talking news, reviews, what's happening in wrestling this week.
What's happening?
But, yeah. Anything with you, Roy? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Yeah, my throat is a little bothersome. The allergies here. It's allergy season in Austin, Texas. It's allergy season really every season in Austin, Texas, but this month, this in particular, as the weather really starts to develop. Oh, that looks nice. You want to go? The truth is out there.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I like that you wanted you're really insistent on having an active background.
You want that? I wonder if this fucks up everything.
Probably.
It just doesn't work. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you, Roy. We have so much to talk about today.
Yeah, we do. We sure do.
What are you laughing about? Tell me what you're laughing about.
Everything.
Give me this piece.
What piece?
Well, a piece of what you're laughing about.
No, I just think it's funny that I'm just talking about the weather as you're changing your background, and you're like, I'm sorry to distract you. Hey, we got a lot to get into.
That's fair.
That's good. That's good. My room is my office here is very echoey because I'm getting rid of everything in this office. I'm cleaning this room out.
It sounds good.
Good. I'm glad. This microphone helps.
It does. Sound off in the chat if you think Roy sounds good. I think that's a healthy thing to start off the chat with. But let us know. Roy, we're going in reverse in this episode, right?
We're starting with the news, and we're going to start obviously with the biggest topic of the week. That's the topic that we have spent multiple hours discussing off air this week.
Okay, well, I think to preface this, it's WrestleMania season, so we know what's at the top of everyone's minds.
We will get into WrestleMania at the end of the. Can I just tell you something?
Yeah, tell me.
I knew that we were going to start the show by talking about CM Punk, obviously. And the title of this episode, if you see the title card, is The Many Faces of CM Punk. Because I've spent a lot of time this week trying to decide how I feel about CM Punk. Not that my opinion matters to anybody.
Oh, it matters, Tom.
But before this show started today, I decided to watch, once again, for the first time in about a year or so, I went back and I watched the night that he returned to wrestling and returned to AEW. I watched his entrance. I watched his promo, and I still get really emotional. Like it still affects me in like a very deep way. And so I just wanted to. So I've said a lot of things on this show negatively about him, despite the fact that he is historically one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Uh, but he just needs to be back in AEW. He just does, and we're gonna get into the details and all of that. But I just wanted to say that like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, even John Moxley don't have the same effect that CM Punk does on an audience. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that of like one, yes, his promo skills and his wrestling ability, but also like I don't look at Roman Reigns and think like I relate to that guy. But you look at CM Punk and you're like, this guy's a fucking grinder. And I buy it, I believe it, and I believe that he could just as easily be in that ring or sitting here next to me enjoying a Coca-Cola because he's straight edge.
What a better way to bring up the first topic of news today. CM Punk is making out with Shawn Michaels and makes love to Shawn Michaels. And let's talk about that. Could you pull up that first news item? Did you see the picture of him making out with?
Yeah.
Sexy CM Punk. We're talking about a lot of things today with CM Punk because CM Punk has just inserted himself in the news. He is just like with the passing of maybe 3 or 4 online clicks of a button. He has become the top news of the week. Where to even start? Well, CM Punk, he started off this week sending out a tweet, not a tweet, an Instagram post. Basically, Dave Meltzer reported something this week. This is how it all started, at least
what
in my
did Meltzer report?
Meltzer reported that CM Punk did not want to lose to Moxley. He didn't want to lose, and there was this talk of like, oh, Tony Khan's going to have to choose between Moxley and Punk, and all this stuff. Just simplifying the issue that then CM Punk wanted to clarify. And so CM Punk clarified by saying, okay, so I was injured and I wasn't cleared yet. And Mox wanted to do this Rocky 3 thing where he just beats the shit out of me real quick. And then we have the rubber match. And I thought it was stupid and it was dumb. And it was. And he's saying these things. I'm paraphrasing, but just a little bit.
Well, he said he'd never seen a Rocky movie, so he didn't understand the Rocky 3 reference. And
he thought it sucked.
And he thought it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's just like, but it's the boss says for me to do it. But I was like, if I'm cleared, I'll do it. And they kept pushing him. And then he's just like, okay, if it's for the business, I'll do it. And he had the quick match. And then at the end, he's just like, Dave Meltzer's a liar. Chris Jericho's a liar and a stooge.
What is it? Well, I agree that Chris Jericho's a liar and a stooge, but I just wonder where does Jericho come into play here? Probably because Jericho gave Meltzer the information.
Yeah, he's the rat. He's the fucking rat, dog. It's all coming full circle. I've said this for months now. It's always been Chris Jericho. He has built this wedge. Honestly, this is it. Want to hear my final take on this scenario? Basically, during the All Out brawl, during the All Out media press conference, he was thinking this was all fucking the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. He thought he's just like, oh, the best Meltzer driver, all this stuff. They're the ones
Kenny.
that are not even necessarily Kenny. Apparently, according to this week's news, CM Punk and Kenny have gotten along. Even after the fight, they were the first ones to just immediately start talking. There was never a problem with Kenny. Kenny just got in the way of Ace Steel's teeth. He got between Ace Steel and a pup. So, but there's that. He immediately deleted this post, Roy.
Yeah, I'm fact checking some of the things you're saying, just because I haven't read it. I haven't read any of it, so I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see it.
But he does that, right? And then we've learned about the Omega stuff.
Yeah.
Tony Khan, but before this, I should have mentioned Tony Khan lets us know that he is potentially switching over. What is it? The All In
From like you're talking about the arenas?
The arena.
Yeah,
The arena,
so
the
the
all
original arena only
yeah.
holds about 10,000 people and is in Schaumburg, Illinois, or something like that, which is right outside of Chicago. But
Yeah.
they're thinking about going to the United Center, which is where the Bulls play, which holds significantly more people and is in like the center of Chicago.
When's the last time they did that, Roy?
Yeah, they did that the day I just watched it, the day CM Punk returned.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's definitely some things there. So he deleted that post where he's just knocking Jericho and Meltzer and all that stuff, and the whole thing with medical clearances, and discussing that with the public. And he made another post not too long after that where he's telling you just a simple story about him and Shawn Michaels just messing around through all the continents. He's fucking and sucking Shawn Michaels in this fanfic. Can we discuss that?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I don't know. There's not a lot to discuss just because I'm not sure what it is, but it's really funny.
Some fan, somebody mentioned that it's like a creepypasta, just like a fanfic. Do you ever hear creepypasta, the term?
No.
Creepypasta is a term for fanfic, like internet fanfic. It's just.
Are you saying creepy pasta?
Lord, if I knew the origins of why it's called creepypasta, if someone knows.
But is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Creepy pasta.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's just like but yeah, essentially that's just that. And just a little other piece of news because related to CM Punk, of course. But first, what do you think of all of this? What everything I just said? CM Punk for a first tweet, first Instagram message that was then since deleted. Was
I buy all of that. I think all of that's true.
Yeah.
I think all of it's true. I think look, I think everyone's a human being. And I think Punk,
except Tony Khan.
No, well, that's the thing is that I think Tony Khan is a businessman at the end of the day. I mean, if you look at it, right, like, and this isn't necessarily an indictment of Tony Khan, although maybe it is. He is a businessman, and as long as he is able to do stuff without any public, what am I trying to say here? I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, let's use like the pandemic as an example, right? Like, before it was safe, truly safe to like bring fans back, he was bringing fans back. He did it in the safest way he possibly could, but he brought fans back, and he did it as a business decision. It was the best way to make money at the time. And I think similarly in this situation, he was thinking to himself, well, yeah, you're not medically cleared, but we'll do it in this way that's like very quick and like you'll be safe and it'll be fine. But that's not okay. Like, it's not okay to send a wrestler who's not cleared into a ring to wrestle, even if it is his foot, right? Like, obviously, I don't think he would ever do that.
Shattered foot.
Right. I don't think he would ever do that to someone who has a head injury because the margin for error there is much more significant, but you shouldn't do that to anybody, period. But I do believe that as a businessman, he was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll protect you. Don't worry. It's fine. Go for it. And of course, Punk, being who Punk is, Punk in his head and maybe to a couple other people were like, yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm not clear. This is dangerous. This is that, but probably never brought it up to the people who mattered. Mm-hmm. Just like in WWE, where he was always complaining about all these things, but he was like complaining to Kofi and not going to Triple H or Vince and being like, this is bullshit.
Because he's such a tough kid. He's walking around.
He's a tough guy.
Because he was walking around. You could see he was when he was walking to the ring during that period of time. He wasn't limping. He was, no. I'm sure, hurt.
I'm sure,
but he wasn't limping because he's such a proud piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and one other thing, because like there's now speculation on where Tony Khan goes, right, Roy?
I just think this is insane. I just think this is crazy in general. But keep going.
The idea that he would choose between him and
why does he have to choose? Everyone should just be professionals and be able to work together. It's business.
In a perfect world, that would be great. I'm not saying he has to choose. I'm not saying he will choose. But in the off chance that he's like, I can't work with CM Punk because Chris Jericho says that he's cancer and he's so bad. The constant thought is, would he go back to WWE, right?
Yeah, he won't, though.
He won't. You're right.
No, he won't. No, they don't want it.
Place
they don't want it.
That would offer him millions of dollars.
Yeah, Impact. You're right.
You fuck Christ. New Japan.
Yeah. I
And
don't.
he was just at one of their
Yeah,
shows
it's true. That's true.
showing
That's true.
support. And I don't know, but there might be a money match between him and
Kenny Omega.
Kenzo, Kenta.
Oh, sure. Yeah. 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 That's an interesting idea. Kent has been talking shit about him for years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's money
Yeah.
there.
Sure. Of course there's money there. Yeah. I mean, I think him in New Japan is a more realistic possibility than him in WWE for sure. But I still think he goes back to AEW. I mean, you're going to get a third hour or a third TV show. Combine Rampage and that hour, and then just do a brand split. Put Jericho on Saturdays and put Punk on Wednesdays. If you want to go that far, like I don't know. You got enough talent for a brand split. I'm not saying actually do that, but I don't know. I just think everyone needs to be able to work together. I just don't understand why like this is so difficult. Why can't we all just fucking come together here for the betterment of the business?
God, if you were at the UN right now, you'd make so much sense. You bring us all together. Why can't we just do it for the betterment of the business? And then
Yeah.
Iraq's just like, oh, Iraq, they're in crumbles. Poor Iraq, but Russia. Sorry.
I don't know. It just needs to happen. He just needs to come back.
Yeah. Oh, we have a new chat person
Oh,
in the
who's
brand
here?
new. Hi, Alex Story World.
Oh, Alex Story World
Let's give you a
is
little
in
thing.
the chat.
Let's give you a little thing. Something sweet. Something real sweet. Uh-oh. 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 Shit. Every time.
I like turtles.
There we go. That's the
There
best
you
I could do.
go.
Alex Story World says, if Kairi Sane head to WWE, the fun stops completely. No more banger matches. No more defending titles all the time. It will be the same way, just like last time she was there. She were there. So you're saying that in yeah, WWE. I haven't seen any of Kairi Sane's matches over at NJPW or in
It's
Stardom.
good. They're
Are they
good. I've
good?
seen a couple. Yeah. Yeah.
How do I watch Stardom?
Through the New Japan app, which we would need to regain access to. I had access to it at some point.
Where's Christy?
But I will see if I can find one. I might have one lying around. I just dropped my thing.
Interesting. Are you looking on the ground for any codes and usernames and passwords?
Yeah.
Let me see what I got here.
What's going on here?
Use of all these posts. Thanks for jumping in the chat, Alex Story World. Keep on doing it. Tell us what you're excited about with new Stardom and New Japan coming up next. But yeah, that's any other thoughts on CM Punk before we move off, Roy?
No, not necessarily. I just think it was perfect, Red. It was perfect for like 6 to 7 months. It was perfect. No, I think as soon as he got involved with Hangman is when things started going off the rails a little bit.
Well, that's Hangman's fault. But you know, I honestly wish he never went for the title.
Yeah, me too.
Because he was so perfect, and all the way up until what was it? MJF was the last one beforehand.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the fun stopped.
But it was so perfect. It was so perfect, except for that time that he like wore Nikes and tried to be like, I'm an everyman. What are these shoes? These got custom made for me. I hate that. And the crowd booed him for it.
I want to boo him right now, and I didn't even remember this fucking promo.
Oh, you don't remember that? That's funny.
But we have more things to talk about, Roy.
Yeah, we got to get
we're still in
it.
AEW land. We're still in AEW land. AEW land as a new fun thing that they're doing, Roy.
Yeah,
as a new fun thing they're doing, and it's called AEW House Rules. They're having house shows. They're having touring house shows scheduled, which is very exciting, and we're all very excited about it. Because it's going to be helpful for the business. They had their first house show this past Saturday in Troy, Ohio, and headlined by John Moxley. Double J was there, a few others. And word is that the crowd enjoyed it. It was popular. It was fun. Everyone had a fun time. There were some cool video images I saw, and also some bad ones. But overall, huge step forward for the company. What do you see is going to be the immediate impact following this? What do you see as the biggest impact coming in out of this?
That's a good question. I would assume that their primary motivation for this is financial, But well, I mean, basically, I haven't seen like the full cards, but like I don't think they're putting people on the shows necessarily that like I don't know. I would do cleaner main events. I would do unique main events that like you wouldn't necessarily see on TV, like a special dream exhibition match between like Claudio and Moxley, even though they're on the same team, or like something that feels different. But like I don't know.
All
I
those
think it's
dream
good.
matches should be on house show. Like, all these like like Kenny versus Vikingo should have been a house show in that area, and like that would just be like, oh, I have to see that. Like you have a huge packed house to see this, and then eventually it'll be shown on the AW streaming service, and Vikingo could lose, not have it hurt him. You get this beautiful match, and people could get those things, that all those things they want, without having to ruin good TV.
I feel like we're gonna argue about Vikingo getting hurt by that loss because I don't think he was hurt at all by losing.
I don't know, Roy.
Yeah,
Oh my
get
God,
into an argument about that.
Alex Story World has just let loose. Alex Story World, did you used to go by Ultimate Hustle? What was it called?
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Because you have some theories. Vince McMahon never left, like I always stated, in the whole Sports Illustrated and SAP claiming he didn't control Triple H is just really comedy, because main event wrestler in WWE who'd been punished has told you, and I believe one of those wrestlers has been saying that Vince never left Mustafa Ali and Dana Brooke, and a couple more than you think. 100%. I feel like Tony Khan will get comfortable soon, like he is doing with Ring of Honor. Nope. I'm combining a lot of responses because they were doing it in real time.
This is juicy.
Yeah, this is good stuff, Alex Story. What are you talking about with Mustafa Ali and Dana Brooke? I
don't know. Mustafa Ali had a lot of issues with Vince, but I don't know what Dana Brooke's deal was.
She was thrown in and out. She was the 24/7 champion.
She was
a few times. She was a part of that. But I'm very excited for AEW house shows because it's gonna give an opportunity for the good, the lower guys to get better.
That's what I hope for.
The higher guys a break.
Yeah.
If they do it right.
Yeah, but like, and again, that's why Moxley needs a break physically. He needs a break. He goes too hard. So I don't know why he's in your main event. Like your main event.
Well, it's in Ohio.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Yeah, good point.
I
think it's exciting. It's a more well-rounded company, I think, with house shows because you're getting more people, more opportunities.
Yeah. And that's just very interesting, very fun. And also, I love the name House Rules.
Yeah. I like that you brand your house shows. I think that's cool.
That's smart. It's good.
Yeah.
Alex Story World says, you know what I'm talking about. Dana Brooke and Ali and a few more is punished right now. Do you think that Ali is being punished? I thought Ali was starting to get some. They're trying again.
I thought he just gets jobbed out on TV every week.
Didn't he just get a big win?
I don't know. Off the top. So
maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, Dana Brooke. What is Dana Brooke getting punished for? She made a comment a while ago that she wanted to fuck Batista.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Did you ever see that compilation on every Sean Oliver shoot interview when they do ask questions? Like they ask for fan questions at the end of every shoot interview.
Oh, how big is Batista's dick?
One guy every single time. How big is Batista's dick?
Oh yeah, because I remember on something to wrestle Bruce Pitcher, he'd be like, "Yeah, with the state of wrestling today and house shows going on and the lowering house shows ratings, where do you see wrestling going in the next few years, especially according to how big Batista's dick is?" And then wait for him to answer. It was a lot of fun. We have to keep going on. Roy.
We got to keep going on
because we have some more interesting things to talk about, mainly about Cody Rhodes. Next slide there, Jazz. Cody Rhodes is selling merch, dog.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He is selling more merch at his stature than any wrestler going on today that is not wearing their merch on TV.
That's true. He does wear his merch on TV.
His merch on TV at all. And you know what? I love that.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, and I forgot that I hated this. I hated when Rikishi would come out with his t-shirt instead of his jacket.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is stupid. He's supposed to wear the jacket. That's the cool part. His stupid t-shirt, I could see that on WWEshop.com. WWF Shop Zone.
The Shop Zone, yeah.
Shop Zone. But like, I just thought that was interesting. He's kind of bringing back this long forgotten, like I don't have to just do that for the T-shirt. They'll buy it if they want it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, do you think he gets more money than any other superstar for his merch because all of the logos and things are his? Like that's his stuff that he has copyrighted. Like he had that before WWE.
That's interesting. I wonder if he's licensing it out to them. That's interesting. I don't know. Honestly, he probably did have some sort of deal in there to get that because it's not like he needed to come to WWE. WWE. He was a commodity. Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Alex Story says he doing good because Bray Wyatt merch been a flop due to awful feud and not wrestling. Is the
word up,
is the
Alex
merch,
Story?
is the
Word up.
merch doing bad?
And not as good as Cody's,
I guess. Bray Wyatt, yikes.
You know what's interesting about Bray Wyatt? This isn't in our news, but this is something that we can discuss briefly. He every time he gets like he's on the shelf with some sort of injury, it's always like a mysterious illness. It's never like, oh, he pulled his quad. It's like he has an unnamed illness that is like that no one's talking about. Like it's always something weird.
Yeah, I think you know how some people like things leak?
Yeah.
Because they leak it. I think some wrestlers you never find out anything because they'll never talk.
Or do you think he's leaking? He's like, tell everybody that I have an unnamed illness, so I sound spooky.
It's not my dick muscle. Don't tell anyone that.
I don't want to tell anybody that I twisted my ankle, so say that I have an unnamed illness.
I really wrenched my dick last because that's not in the ring. It didn't happen in the ring.
Yeah, it didn't happen in the ring, so it didn't happen at all.
Alex Story World says if you check the WWE merch list, Cody is number 1, and then Roman Reigns is number 2.
Wow.
Alex Story World, thank you so much for all this feedback you're giving us today. You're actually being great. Thanks.
Yeah, this is great. Very interesting.
At this point, I'm surprised Bray Wyatt hasn't dressed up as a doctor. The doctor will see you now.
That's good. That's good.
We have to keep moving on, Roy, because why don't we have a new inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame? Next slide there, Tam. The immortal one, Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, I love this.
This is great.
And a previous iteration of this show, I believe I ranked him 4th or 5th all time as the best heels in the history of professional wrestling, which honestly he deserves. So good for him. If he was alive right now, we both know that he'd love this. He'd love being inducted into a Wrestling Hall of Fame.
You know that I wonder if he would. I don't think he'd ever want to break the character.
I think he'd accept it as a heel.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
he's such an old man.
Rumor has it
he wouldn't be that old. He'd be like a little younger than Jay Leno.
That's a good question.
He'd be 60s.
I think
70s. He'd be early 70s.
He died. He had such a young age.
He's like 30 when he died in the 80s. I'll say 70, 72.
He'd be 73. He was born in 1949. January 17th, 1949.
Well, I won. Well, you didn't guess him.
He's Ric Flair's age.
Oh, yeah, he'd definitely show up. Alex Storworld says, guys, I don't know about y'all, but they should have one of Muta best friends, Tajiri, from WWE too.
Also induct Tajiri into the Hall of Fame?
Should it? That's a good question that Alex Story poses. We all know that Andy Kaufman deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He had a really
he's
cool
in the
career.
celebrity wing.
The celebrity wing, easily the most the most lauded and deserving celebrity wing, correct?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at the other people who have been inducted into the celebrity wing.
Pete Rose is the only one that could compete in my brain.
Yeah, that's true. Can I just whatever? No, we can keep going.
But Alex brings up. What are you laughing about?
They were the most recent Mick Foley podcast is about WrestleMania 14. And very, very briefly, Conrad is like, what'd you think of Pete Rose, WrestleMania 14? And Foley obviously loved it. And they kind of relived his delivery of his like bad guy lines. And there's this line where, he says, I left 2 tickets for Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend down to pick them up. But the funniest thing about that is that he says that and then goes, how about it? How about it? It's so funny to hear him say, how about it?
Oh,
and he looks honestly, around to get heat.
That's a great fucking t-shirt. Yeah. But Alex mentions Tajiri, and Tajiri should be in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, I think, yeah. One day,
yeah.
I think with someone oh, sorry, continue.
No. That's it. That's all I got.
I think someone with Tajiri's stature should be fully retired first. Like, someone like Muda, who's just barely retired, or someone like Goldberg, who's not retired,
who's in the Hall of Fame already,
because it can be inducted because of their stature. I think Tajiri would have to be really retired before they bring him in.
Yeah.
But he deserves it, I think, right?
Yeah, sure.
ECW and WWE. He was the United States champion in WWE.
Was he?
Yeah. Alongside Tori Wilson.
Wasn't he all? I mean, he was tag team champions with Regal.
Tag team with Regal.
Also US in the cruiserweight title.
U.S. champion right at the start of the invasion.
And he was also multi-time cruiserweight champion.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's U.S. champion right at the start of the invasion. I could be wrong about that.
Well, we're going to find out because I'm looking it up. This is my new thing.
Alex Story says they should also induct guys who have best moments like Stone Cold and Booker T feud running through the church and the grocery store.
So
that's more of our thing, Alex Story World. We induct moments.
You've come to the right place.
If you stay for the rest of the show, you're going to see our LLW Weekly Hall of Fame where we do that. But I don't like the idea of them doing moments,
I think there should be some sort of, he was WCW United States champion. Yeah, and then he was also tag team champion with Eddie Guerrero as well, because when Chavo got hurt, Tajiri stepped in, and it was Tajiri and Eddie.
They had a ladder match together.
Yeah, against World's Greatest Tag Team.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Tajiri should be in the Hall of Fame. He had a great run with Regal. He had a great run as a babyface with Tori Wilson, and he's an excellent wrestler. And then came back late in life at the Cruiserweight Classic. And did he become a 205 Live champion?
No.
Wait, are you sure about that? He didn't become.
Yeah.
Are you 110% positive?
Yes.
Why am I thinking that he did? Brian Kendrick did, I guess.
Brian Kendrick did. Hold on.
Oh, look it up. Look at this. Alex Story World says I would have had Shinsuke Nakamura announce Muda and Tajiri. He had both of their style. That's not a bad idea. Oh, do you think that Shinsuke is gonna induct Muda? No, it's Ric Flair, right?
It's Ric Flair, yeah, which is interesting. And the only reason it's Ric Flair is because Sting's under contract with AEW, and it should have been Sting.
Should have been Sting. But what are you saying?
What am I saying? What do you mean?
What are you seeing?
Oh, I have to find like the different cruiserweight title.
Fuck it. He wasn't champion.
He wasn't. I believe Akira Tozawa was.
Yeah, but for some reason, I'm pretty sure one of the first two.
No, TJP.
Not TJ. TJP was the first.
TJP was the first. Yeah, he was the first because multiple people, I believe, including Tajiri, did not want to sign a contract and stay with the WWE.
But he stayed with the WWE. He was on 205 Live.
I don't think he was.
I don't know. We do think Tajiri deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he needs a little bit more. He's still wrestling. I think in another 5 or 10 years, he should be inducted, but he's still wrestling right now, Roy, right?
Yeah, he is. He is in Japan.
He's wrestling. But we have to keep moving on because we have another news story. The last of my news, unless you have something spicy.
I got some news.
Next picture, slide, Jess. Goldberg's a free agent.
That's pretty interesting.
Goldberg is no longer with the WWE. He is not re-signed with the company, and he's available. And you know who thinks that's interesting? Tony Khan.
Yeah.
He loves WCW. He loves later years WCW.
Sure, yeah.
And as do you.
As do I.
Roy, should Goldberg be signed to AEW?
It depends. It depends on if Goldberg wants to play ball. Because if Tony Khan can give Goldberg the Sting treatment, then by all means. Tony Khan, hold on. Tony Khan has the utmost amount of respect for these legends that come in. He doesn't necessarily he doesn't hit a home run every time, but he always treats them with respect. They never get embarrassed. Whether it's Tully Blanchard, whether it's Arn Anderson, whether it's Sting, like all of these guys are treated with respect and treated admirably on television. So if Goldberg wants to come in and like take a young guy under his wing and not really wrestle a lot, but like maybe be in a tag team with them, or maybe have him like around somebody like Wardlow, perhaps he might make Wardlow interesting and digestible and give Wardlow an edge. Fine. But if you want to do exactly what WWE has done with Goldberg, which is put him in like really bad 5-minute matches with superstars for him to either beat or get crushed by, then don't do it.
Really bad 5-minute matches. Some of them are really good.
Yeah, not in the last couple of years. Did you see his match against The Undertaker? Did you see his match against Brock?
Alex World has breaking news. Goldberg was spot during Impact Wrestling tapings yesterday.
Ooh.
I don't believe it, but sure. But the thing is, Goldberg, if Goldberg is a businessman, right?
Yeah.
What is his biggest gripe with his first run in WWE?
They didn't use him well?
Yes, they didn't use him well. Did he get popular by doing?
Crushing people?
Crushing people. How'd they use him when he came back? They made him do promos and angles, and they made him be like have
he crushed people though.
He crushed people, but the story wasn't there. They weren't using him right. They were trying to have this story where Triple H was kind of getting in his way, and he's chasing with the
his
belt.
His first run. Yes. Okay. Yes.
And then then the second run, they realized, oh, Goldberg only wants to crush people. And the only way we make money with Goldberg, and it makes sense to have Goldberg, is if he crushes people. Goldberg will not come to the company if he is going to be a mouthpiece for someone.
I'm not saying he needs to be a mouthpiece at all. Like Sting is not Darby Allin's mouthpiece.
He's not going to take anyone under his wing.
He could though. They could do that. And that's why you don't bring him to the company. What are you going to do with him? He's going to
what are you going to do with him?
Squash Pretty Peter Avalon? Like, what's that going to do for you?
Okay, so let's say because honestly, this is Tony Khan's world. If Tony Khan brings him on, he's going to have him be Goldberg. He loves Goldberg, late 90s Goldberg.
Right.
He's going to have him be Goldberg. So who is he going to squash?
Pretty Peter Avalon.
You think he's going to give him Pretty People? You think Goldberg's going to be like, okay, he's going to, before he signs, he's going to like, who am I going to be facing in this one match I'm going to be having? And they're going to say, Pretty People Avalon. He's going to be
so you think it's a one-match deal? You think it's a one-match deal?
I'm saying in the world of a one-match deal where because that's all you could get out of him.
They'll feed him Miro. They'll bring Miro back so he can beat Miro.
Actually, that's something that Miro would come back for because that's good money. But if they pay him according to the gate, we have so many comments here. Alex Story where it says, look, dude, if Tony Khan already have this common sense idea for Goldberg, sign him. But Sting has never looked unfitting in AEW, 100%.
Yeah.
Sting can do a lot. Sting can wrestle in multiple type of matches. He can be put in situations that he has never been in because he knows how to make himself comfortable. Goldberg needs to be in a very curated position with a very curated opponent for a very curated amount of time with a very specific hand. It can't have this, oh, I got a new idea, I have to do something else. You have to stick with it for at least 2 months.
Yeah.
And I just don't
There's just nobody for him to wrestle in that company.
Wardlow.
Sure, but then he's got to lose to Wardlow.
Actually,
that's an interesting idea. That's Tony Khan's like Hail Mary pass to try to get Wardlow over.
But that being said, I don't think Goldberg's going to come in to lose. I don't think so. And I think if he's going to have a match, give him Kenny Omega. Kenny can take the loss.
Not.
Kenny can take the loss and put on a good match.
Kenny Omega will embarrass Goldberg just like William Regal embarrassed Goldberg.
No. If Kenny Omega chooses to embarrass Goldberg the way William Regal chose to embarrass Goldberg, the thing is, like, if Kenny Omega does it, that's an indictment on him. His job is to have a good match. You give him, maybe not him, but give him like Christian, or give him
Christian.
Jericho.
Yeah, give him Jericho.
The history.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. That's just like when the WWE would bring back these fucking old fucks to have one more match. Put them against someone who's also old, so you're not affecting any of your young talent.
Yeah. Well, no, sometimes.
And if you're gonna have them lose at WrestleMania,
yeah, sure. No, you're right. You're right. Troy fucking Junior's in the chat.
Troy fucking Junior, let's go.
Let's get the dogs are back. Troy says if Goldberg goes to AEW, then you're next. Oh no, Troy said yo first.
Yo.
Alex Story World says also Jeff Jarrett looks good in AEW too. Damn
he
right
does. He does.
If they used him right, he should have been that fucking international champion, the Intercontinental champion. Oh, I'm so sorry, the IC champion.
The
Alex
IN
Story
champion.
World,
the INT champ.
Where do you see the N?
International. In.
That's not how it works, Roy.
INT,
Intercontinental
baby.
is a hyphenated word. Inter hyphen continental. So you could do that with IC. International is one word.
Yeah. So then what is he? The I champ?
The Intercontinental, the international champion is IC, Roy. You're kind of sounding crazy. Alex Story World says Goldberg versus Satan Singh could be something though. If
yeah,
the feud is
sure
booked correctly, have them both go 18 minutes tops at different spots. What are you talking about, Alex Story World? Alex Story World, I was so on your side for so long. But then you just said Goldberg versus Satnam Singh. Did you see Goldberg versus The Undertaker?
Goldberg versus Satnam Singh in an 18-minute match.
Goldberg versus The Undertaker in a 10-minute match. The Undertaker has been able to pull some good matches out of people sometimes.
But also Goldberg was severely concussed.
After he concussed himself.
Yeah, right.
He cannot. He would not. He would
put Goldberg up against Jeff Jarrett.
He would concuss an audience member without that match. Don't put him against Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's honestly put him against Jericho. Honestly, I don't think Jericho would do it because honestly wrestling Goldberg at this stage in his life is a career ender potentially.
Oh my god!
To be honest,
no, you're not wrong.
Chris Jericho is a concussion away from not wrestling anymore ever.
Sure. Yeah.
Troy Fusilier Jr. says, I finally changed my name. Yes. Wait, you don't want to be Troy fucking Jr.? Actually, I do like Troy Fusilier Jr. It's sweeter.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I hope I'm saying it right. Troy, you never told me if I'm saying it right. Is it Fusilier? I like saying it like that. Alex Story World says definitely not Omega. Fine. Yeah. Alex Story World says Omega versus Sanjay Dutt would be a funny one. What about that?
Alex Story World really loves the Jeff Jarrett contingency here.
He does. I don't want to see Sanjay Dutt anymore. I think
I love Sanjay Dutt. I
love Sanjay Dutt too, but he's going to it's honestly just too distracting. It's too much. It's not it's so absurd. It's not funny. Yeah. I don't know. Troy says you're right. Roy's right.
About what?
You got to tell us, Troy. You got to tell us. What is he right about? Alex, pronouns, pal. Alex Story World gives a laugh cry emoji. 5 of those, bless you. Alex Story World says, how about Brody King versus Goldberg?
I mean, that's cool, but I don't want to see Brody King lose.
Yeah, Brody King would have to lose. Goldberg is not going to lose to Brody King. I don't think that's a mistake. No. Troy says it's Fusile. Fragile.
Hey, what just yeah, that's good.
Troy Fragile. No, I don't want to call you. Unless you like that as a nickname. Troy Fragile. No, but I'll say Fusile.
We can just keep going. I think it's a good idea.
I'm gonna mess it up. Going, you got to say it fast. Troy Fusile. Okay, but we have to keep going on. R.I.P. Goldberg. Blessings. Roy, you have some more news for us, don't you?
I do. But now I need to remember the order in which I am delivering that news. So bear with me a moment.
No, don't worry. I'll say this in the meantime. Troy Fusile says close. Thanks. Alex Storyworld says Jake Hager versus Goldberg. You
Love
just
it.
want me to
Love
piss
it.
off.
Love it.
Well, if we're gonna give him, who do we have? So it's just Jericho. Just Jericho's
Jericho.
the one to get a good win, like a quick win on. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Also,
or Jeff Jarrett. I still think Jeff Jarrett's a good candidate.
The money's with Jericho.
Yeah, sure.
The story and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Troy says, just say it how you said it. Fusilier, thank you. Joe's in the chat.
Oh, Joe.
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 Late to the show. Same. Joe said, assuming you're talked about Punk, biggest BS is that he's never seen a Rocky movie. That's a good point, Joe. That's actually a really good point. Honestly,
you just never know.
Honestly, that's a little shocking.
I remember hearing in interviews that he's never. You know what his favorite movie is ever? Slapshot. The hockey movie with Paul Newman.
He's such a Canadian mark. He's such a Bret Hart mark that he just won't watch fucking Rocky. He'll watch Slapshot, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Troy says the last one you said was correct. Fusilier or Fusile? Now I'm confused.
We gotta keep rolling.
Joe says Punk was versus the robot from Rocky IV dream match. Joe. Okay, your turn. Go. Sorry.
Tam, sorry. Jazz, hit that next slide. I'm sorry, we're a mess. Oh, you're gonna drop your head at me. All right, the next slide here. We just want to take a second to wish all the best to Josh Alexander, current Impact Heavyweight Champion. He has to relinquish the title because he tore his pec. He is the longest reigning Impact champion in the history of TNA. In the 20-year history of this company, he has held the heavyweight championship longer than anyone in the history of the company. So, you know, obviously it's a disappointing end to his title run.
How did he tear his pec?
In a match.
Do we know which match?
Isn't
there a slam? Wasn't there a big pay-per-view yesterday?
There was like an Impact Plus show yesterday. Yeah, that he wasn't on because of that injury. So now Steve Macklin, who is a good professional wrestler with a very boring name, and Kushida are going to be fighting at the main event of the next actual pay-per-view to decide the next heavyweight champion of Impact Professional Wrestling.
Honestly, I think that's a bad idea.
Which one's a bad idea?
Those two?
Why? Well, Steve Macklin, he was going to fight Josh Alexander for the title. And for those of you unfamiliar with Steve Macklin, he was part of the motorcycle gang that was in WWE for a while.
Which one?
Him, Wesley Blake, and then the Trump guy.
Oh, Sons of Darkness.
Yeah, whatever they were called.
Left in the Dark, Lost,
the one
Forgotten.
Where both guys got released, and then the Trump guy who said a bunch of hateful things.
The Orphan Boys.
Kept. Yeah.
I think that he's bad. That's a bad idea because I've never heard of him before. And Kushida, I'm sorry, if you make him your champion, that I am so over this Back to the Future gimmick. It looks really low class. Like, it just looks very not low class, but like low rent. It looks like something I'd see on any show in my area. Like, literally, like, it's just they have Moose.
Yeah,
Moose is better.
They do have Moose.
Moose is believable. They built him up for such a period of time. Let him, like, especially with this new energy you got going forward, you know, or you know, one of the other guys, Matt Cardona, get some name recognition around.
Well, I think Macklin is kind of a safe bet, right? Like, he's not going anywhere. So maybe if you want to give it to Macklin, do it. And maybe Macklin holds it until Josh Alexander comes back and beats him for it. That's
well, if you want safe
too.
bets, you're gonna have a safe company. So whatever.
Yeah, well, I think Impact could, is kind of a safe company right now.
They need to be safe.
Yeah, and then also, this isn't in the news, but Mickie James is also injured as well, so she might have to relinquish the women's title.
Interesting.
Too. So we'll see what happens there. They have a show at the end of this month. They have a show next week. That is a crossover with NJPW. which looks very good, very interesting. Moose is fighting Jeff Cobb on that show, which is pretty sick, if you ask me.
Actually, that sounds really great. Moose versus Jeff Cobb sounds like a big slap fight. Loving it.
Yeah.
Big meaty slap fight, just hauling mass. We have a lot of comments. This just blew up. Alex says the second BS CM Punk backstage drama from last year and now looks too much organized as a work. 100%. Interesting. I like this skepticism, Alex Story World. Do you think this is all a work? Tell me more. CM Punk and the Elite got everyone thinking it's not a work, which makes sense. I literally just said this to you the other day, Roy. I was just like, it's all a work. They're all working us. But I feel like these comments, it's calling Chris Jericho a stooge. I don't know. That seems a little real.
Yeah.
Too real.
Yeah.
Too real. Troy Fusilier says, oh man, best wishes. Oh, for Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
Alex Story World says Impact Wrestling has better women's division than WWE. I don't know if they have a better women's division anymore.
I think it's on par. It's up there though. They have a good women's division.
Better women's matches. They can have better women's matches because I feel like their crew is really good, but I don't think they're stars. And I'd prefer to watch the WWE roster because they know how to be stars.
It depends. I think the WWE women's roster is obviously much larger and therefore is not as concentrated. So there are times when I watch a women's match, like on Friday, that women's tag match with Lacey Evans, Xia Li, Natalya, and Shotzi Blackheart, where I'm like, I'd rather be watching Impact. So
yeah. Okay, interesting. You hate Shotzi Blackheart so much. Alex Story World says, I know everything about former WB guys in Impact Wrestling. You know everything, huh? Oh, show off. No, we love you, Alex Story World. Alex Story World says, this guy just hate hard on Impact Wrestling. Is he related from IWC podcast JD from New York or something? Not sure what you're saying there.
Well, JD from New York sucks. That's all I'm going to say.
Does he suck?
He sucks.
Piece of shit?
Yeah,
fuck that kid. We love you, Alex Story World. Joe says the Back to the Future would be amazing if he committed to it. No, Joe, we don't need any. Joe loves Back to the Future. Joe,
he used to come to the ring in a DeLorean.
That's so
in Japan.
I just hate. I honestly think
they were the time splitters.
Do you see how that's just such a? That's like a. Honestly, that's like Honky Tonk Man in the late 90s. It's just like, okay, we get it. It was cool in a period of time, but you still doing that same thing just looks low class and stupid.
I don't think of it. I don't even relate it to Back to the Future. I don't care. I just think of it like, it's his ring gear. Okay. That's that. I don't really care. I don't think about it.
All right. Alex Story World says Cardona on his way to WWE. Do you think that's true?
I think that's absolutely possible. Yeah.
Especially with Chelsea Green there.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Bleak says Moose has been champ. Damn.
Hey, Brooklyn Bleak.
Oh, Brooklyn Bleak is in the chat. Oh my God. I just breezed past. Like I didn't even know.
Yeah. Moose has been champ. But he should be champ again. He should be champ again.
He should be champ again. We got Bruce. Then Brooklyn Bleak says, God, please not Cardona. Bless you. I like Cardona, but Alex Story World says Multiverse is banger.
Multiverse is banger. Multiverse is the show that they're doing this week. The Impact NGPW crossover show that looks really, really good.
Okay. Troy Fusilier says no, Mickey James.
Yeah, but she'll be back.
Do we know how she got injured?
Was
her injury?
We'll
have that in the next week's news.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Bleak says, miss the Omega versus Vikingo talk. I'll watch the replay. But did you talk
we haven't talked about it yet.
Didn't we talk about it last week?
No.
Oh, we didn't. Oh my God.
We haven't gotten to the Woos and What's yet.
I feel like I've talked about that match so much. We're going to get to the Woos and What's. You didn't miss anything, Brooklyn Bleak. We're going to get to it. But did you talk about this upcoming Dynamite match of Omega versus Jeff Cobb? We will talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too.
Alex Story World says, who has better feud and common sense argument segments and longer matches, not having 9 minutes or 11 minutes tops? What? Who has better feud? I'm not sure. You have to give me between who and who. Brooklyn Bleak says, has Xia Li progressed?
She wasn't really in that match too much. She wrestled on Friday in a tag match with Lacey Evans, who has regressed. She's the worst. And she sucks. She's awful.
Why do you think she sucks?
I just think I don't believe a single thing she does. I don't believe her offense. I don't believe her character. I don't believe her trying to be a heel. She is playing wrestler. She sucks.
I have to have another look at her. I watched her on SmackDown. Alex Storyworld says, I love Chris and Alex and Kushida tag team name, though. It's better than being called Hit Row and Maximum Male Models. You got them there, Alex Story.
Yeah.
WWE or Impact Wrestling? Who has better? Honestly, that's a good. So between WWE and Impact, who has better feud and common sense of segments and longer matches, not having 9 minutes or 11 minutes tops?
Well, Impact.
Impact, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go with that. And that's what I meant by the question. Very good question. We have to keep moving on. Any other stories?
Going. Yeah, I got 2 more. Well, I got 1.5 more, and this one's gonna piss you off, and I do it for that reason. Hit that next slide there, E-Jazz. I want to take a special second to shout out 6 people.
Oh, let me guess. It was in a match.
That's right. That's right, Red. We have 6 new inductees into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame, baby.
Yeah.
The Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony. It's really nice.
No, I'm not mad at this. Everyone, honestly, I love making sure everyone feels good, and everyone deserves an orange slice at this practice.
We have 6 new inductees going into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame on Sunday, April 2nd, which I'll be watching. I'm excited about it. The first inductee this year that was announced was Christopher Daniels. And Christopher Daniels deserves to be inducted into a Hall of Fame for all that he's done in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, he's in the Impact Hall of Fame, I believe.
He's not, but that's okay.
Well, that's the Hall of Fame he deserves.
He deserves to be in the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so does everyone that's ever had an indie match.
Wow. This is so disrespectful. It's unbelievable how disrespectful you are. I just can't begin to describe how disrespectful you are. It's to the legacy of Christopher Daniels.
No, Christopher Daniels is great. Christopher Daniels is great. Christopher Daniels is great, and he deserves to be in any Hall of Fame that he has a right to claim to. No, that wasn't a slight.
Okay.
He shouldn't be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
No, he shouldn't be, and he never. I'm saying
has a right to claim to. So he has a right to claim to the Indies. Yeah, sure.
Cheerleader Melissa.
That classic. Oh yeah, sure. That Billboard name. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Jimmy Jacobs is also going to be inducted into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Who's Jimmy Jacobs?
Jimmy Jacobs was a prominent fixture in Ring of Honor for many, many years. He's now
okay. Oh, I do know Jimmy Jacobs.
One of the head writers for Impact currently. He also was a writer he was responsible for Chris Jericho's list. Mm-hmm. He was also responsible for all of the Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens stuff because he was a writer for WWE for a period of time, and then got fired from the WWE for posing for a picture with Cody and the Young Bucks. He got fired for that, which is hilarious. Paul London is being inducted into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is a pretty interesting one. Don't know if I agree with that one, but that's okay.
Why don't you agree with that one? Did you not have enough indie dates?
Because he had he rose to prominence. Really, his rise to prominence was in WWE.
Is this only for homegrown indie people? It's not people who have spent years on the indies doing great work?
I think this is for people who are most known for their indie work. He's most known for his WWE work.
Well, then what Hall of Fame is he going to get into? WWE is not going to.
He's not going to get into a Hall of Fame.
So he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? What are you talking about?
I'm saying that the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. No.
This is ridiculous.
No.
You know what? He hasn't had enough indie dates. He started off in a weird place. And I don't think it's the.
I'm saying.
Oh my god!
I'm saying that Christopher Daniels in particular never went to the WWE, and
so Paul London gets no.
Was a cornerstone. Christopher Daniels was a cornerstone for every prominent independent wrestling promotion throughout the 20th century.
Well, he still has a chance to be in the Lucha Underground Hall of Fame, so at least he has that.
I mean, congratulations to Paul London. I think he's great. He's fantastic.
You just swept all the wind out of his sails. He's going to be so sad.
And another person.
But indie wrestling's for everyone. Right. That's what.
Let's just go to the next slide. I'm done.
It. No.
I'm done talking about this.
Who's the last one?
There are 2 more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, because you're just gonna make fun of it, and you're going to take all of the zest and zeal and prominence
I think
out
only
of these
one.
inductions.
Honestly, I feel like one of them I'm going to be very supportive of.
Who, Mike Modest?
Yeah, make modest. That's the one I'm going to be supportive of. I
Mike
support
Modest.
Excalibur being in the.
Excalibur was the last one. Yes,
he's the only one that I'm like slightly support being in this thing because he PWG.
Because he founded PWG. Yes,
that's the only one. That's the person that I think deserves to be in this Hall of Fame.
Christopher Daniels deserves to be in this Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels. But then you have fucking cheerleader Melissa.
But that's the thing,
but
though.
not Paul London, that piece of shit. Who voted Paul London into this thing? He's a fucking
like
WWE shit. Fuck him.
I'm just saying, cheerleader Melissa, similar to Lufisto from last year, there weren't that many women wrestling on the indies in the late 90s and early 2000s when the indies were actually born. And she was there. And she just continued to work on the indies for years and years and years and years and never got a break, but never stopped working and never stopped being a part of all of these different prominent promotions, and was an advocate for women's wrestling when there weren't that many advocates for women's wrestling.
That's a good answer. Alex World says Excalibur is definitely up there. Who spit faster than him now? Tony Khan knew how skilled he was by talking. 100.
True.
Alex World says I got to give Tony credit signing Excalibur. Yeah. And then Troy says the disrespect. Wait, are you talking about me towards the Indie Hall of Fame or Roy towards Paul London? Brooklyn Bleak says Impact building up a Gresham versus Mike Bailey respect feud is
that's cool. That's very cool.
Brooklyn Bleak says no respect for the Curryman. No, Curryman belongs there.
No respect for the Curryman.
Honestly, he should get a second induction. He should be the first one with 2 inductions into the Indie Hall of Fame. That's a good point. That's a great point, Brooklyn Bleak. Alex Story World says Tiffany Stratton doing the Fallen Angel every NXT appearance is pretty cool. I haven't
seen that.
Joe Redlitz cool. Says if Trump is in WWE Hall of Fame, London has a chance. Actually, I think Trump should be in the Indie Hall of Fame.
For what?
Hear me out. I have nothing. Alex World says, guys, I'm gonna say it right now, but I see Ibushi interruption if he could beat Tanahashi because that's his boy, 100%.
Sure.
I like that. Brooklyn Bleak says Daniels was the 3rd guy in the great AJ Styles Samoa Joe Triple Threat series, and he had a great feud with AJ Styles too. Yeah, and what company was that for, Brooklyn Bleak?
Okay, but Christopher Daniels also was the 3rd man in the great.
I was talking to Brooklyn Bleak. Brooklyn Bleak, what was that? What was that? Impact Hall of Fame? Impact Hall of Fame. Troy says yes. Red is despicable. Joe says Paul London should be in every Hall of Fame. Joe,
Paul London should be in every Hall of Fame. I love Paul London.
You just said he shouldn't be. There's only one. I think Paul London. Where's fake news? Fake news.
I just think he never committed to one place or the other.
Oh, that lack of commitment piece of shit. Pick a company.
Yeah, well, he was very talented. I mean, should Brian Kendrick be in the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame?
I think any wrestler who's ever been on the Indies should be in the Hall of
Fame. Also, where's Reckless Youth?
He'll be there soon. He's not my vote. He's got my vote.
Oh my god!
To Bailey versus Tanahashi at the Multiverse, guys. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool because Will Ospreay's hurt,
and Bailey wrestles without shoes. And Bailey's like, I don't know why people don't wrestle without shoes more often because they don't want to break their fucking ankles, dog. Is there any other news, Roy?
One more piece, Red, very quickly. When Sting had a match on Impact on AEW this week. And Ric Flair tweeted about it, calling you can go to the next slide, Jazz. Calling Sting an American treasure. There's not much of a news piece here. I just wanted to say that I agree. I don't often agree with Ric Flair, but I agree that Sting is an American treasure. And that's it. Sting's an American treasure.
Sting's an American treasure, and to be honest, deserves to be in the Indie Hall of Fame. I'll stop. I'll stop right there. Brooklyn B says, man, people still see TNA at the time as an indie. Hell, Impact is seen as an indie. Okay, if you want to call it indie, yeah, sure.
It's not untrue, technically.
You know who should also be, if you're counting TNA
Jeff
and Impact
Jarrett.
as indie? No, the Bruno Sammartino. WWE was an indie at one point. Like, just
Dixie
fine. Like,
Carter, put her in the
Dixie
Indie
Carter.
Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Trick. Yeah, but Tiny Jarrett.
Uh,
Teeny.
teeny
Teeny.
Jarrett.
That's this grandma.
Anyway, yes, Sting is a national treasure. Everyone should love Sting. We should all love Sting. But we can move on to the weekly Woos and Whats. And Red, we've been doing the show for a month now. It's the end of the month. So rather than go show for show this week, we're going to change things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're reaching the end of the month, and this is the end of March, which means we're approaching WrestleMania and all of the other shows that go with it. So this week, we're going to start by talking about AEW and this week's Dynamite. And then we'll just get into how we feel about the build to WrestleMania. And we'll also talk about Ring of Honor to close the show out. So for this week's Dynamite, how'd you feel about it?
I did not like it. I thought it was a bad.
You didn't like this week's Dynamite.
I would love to go over the matches one by one for this one. I don't need to do it for all the shows this week, but this one I need to.
Yeah, well, this is the only one we're talking about.
It's just a constant bad mistake parade. I just find it to be so hard to watch for the most part right now. Well, not hard to watch. It's easy to watch because things change and things are always happening. It's not hard to watch in the same way WWE is hard to watch. It's like I'm cringing the entire time.
I disagree, but that's okay. Our opening match of the night. I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed it. The opening match, which surprised me. This match took me by surprise because I didn't see this advertised, and I was just genuinely shocked. That Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Sting wrestled the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. Didn't see this coming. Didn't know where it came from, but I was happy that it was here.
I'm happy that Sting's there. I thought it was a good match. I do not like Sting doing his Orange Cassidy thing against someone that's not Orange Cassidy. I like it in that one moment. But that being said, it was a fun match. It was a fun match. Sting got his shit in, and the right people lost. But I will say this. I do like Kip Sabian with the Butcher and the Blade.
Sure. Yeah.
And I want him to just call himself Kip. And they all have their purposes.
Yeah.
The Butcher is the daddy. Blade is the masochist. Kip is the little pup. And Bunny rules over them all. BDSM stuff.
And Penelope Ford.
Penelope Ford is her pet. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's make it a big BDSM
Love it.
thing.
Love it.
Right?
Love that.
She's already called the Bunny. Let her rule the fucking place.
I think it's great.
But yeah, that was fine.
Great. Well, then after that, we had, was there a promo after that, actually? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Then we had Top Flight versus the Guns for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I don't appreciate Top Flight being in this segment. I don't think they needed to be in this match. I didn't want to see them lose again. I don't, and I know that eventually they did lose because of interference from well, actually, you know what we got to take a step back here because we skipped over something really important. The show opened with this backstage angle with this ambulance and the Young Bucks. What do you think of this?
So the thing is, when I said how I felt about the show, I was rating it before. I guess I didn't even think of this. So yes, I feel like there were some good parts in the show followed by bad mistakes. So I rewatched this, and I like this opening segment. Yeah, like Roy said in the Discord, I believe. I think it was the Discord and text that it was like early Nitro.
Yeah, this is how Nitros used to open with like frantic action. You don't know what's going on. Like this was good.
And yeah, I liked it. I thought that the thing with him grabbing the door was really cool. Adam Page grabbing the door and getting in the ambulance, going off. All good. Good way to start. Great way to start the show. Dare I say, great way to start the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was diminishing returns after that. We have to talk about some of the things.
Yes, then we can get into that. Okay, but yes,
in terms of Guns versus Top Flight, I agree with you. I do not want to see Top Flight in this position. I'm just upset with the entire match as a whole. I'm sure it was fine, but the just the glow of it being Top Gun are still the champions. They're not over. Top Flight are losing to them, and they could be over, but they're losing to the Guns.
Yeah, well, I appreciated at least that. I don't think Ring of Honor should bleed over into AEW TV. I think they should be separate. But at least Top Flight didn't lose clean. They lost because of the Kingdom, and the Kingdom is who they're feuding with in Ring of Honor. So I at least appreciate that. And after the match, Top Flight chased the Kingdom through the crowd. But after the match, this is worth talking about. This is when FTR comes out. And FTR says, if we can't beat you, we're going to quit AEW. Are they going to quit AEW?
No, they're not. They're going to stay with the AEW. They have no other place to go. They could go to NJPW, I guess. That's the only other place.
Yeah. They could also wrestle the Indies, which Dax has talked about.
And it would secure their lock into the Indie Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Which is pretty good.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they have to stay with them, right?
Yeah, I would think so. After that, Jade Cargill's backstage complaining about Taya using Jade's finisher. Mark Sterling says that she's no longer allowed to use it. He has drawn up a contract, and Layla Gray is going to fight Taya in a squash match on Rampage.
Yeah,
keep moving.
Why the hell would Layla Gray should not talk? And it just was awkward. But yeah.
After that, we had a no disqualification match between Hook and Stokely Hathaway, which I thought was pretty fun.
Fun, but awkward.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, Stokely's not a...
No, I'm not even saying that part. I'm saying the cut-ins between his faction in the back, the firm, with them watching and just like, oh, and then at the end when Hook beats them, they're just like, oh, well, that means Ethan Page, you got to do it.
Yeah,
you gotta do it. Like, it's just so forced and so hokey.
It's a little hokey. It's definitely a little hokey. I thought Stokely's work in this match was very good. I also like that Stokely had a doctor's note.
That was really funny. And it just said he's sick.
Yeah.
What did it say?
And it said he's sick. And then Justin Roberts said that it was written on the back of like a chicken receipt. House receipt. It was very fun. Very specific. Very good time. The next Adam Cole came out, cut a nice little promo, and then Daniel Garcia came out. They had a nice little back and forth, which was really good. Of course, you hated it. Tell me why you hated it.
I thought Daniel Garcia found a way to talk. Like there was a point like he like towards the end of that first little thing. First thing, wrong guy for the segment. Wrong guy. You're trying to make Daniel Garcia important. This is a bad way to do it because the crowd was dead when he came out. No, it's true. If you listen to it, they were absolutely dead. They did not, like, of all the people, he's like, who's going to be my first opponent? They did not want Daniel Garcia. You know, like, there's just, he's just, they haven't built him up.
Who do you want? Who should it have been?
Someone to show off for Adam Cole. Someone just honestly.
Yeah, but that's what Daniel Garcia is going to do.
Daniel Garcia is just, it's only hurting Daniel Garcia. This segment, like, it got good. He had moments where he was talking, he got good. He's just like, what makes you so special? I love that. And I love Daniel Garcia, and I want Daniel Garcia to do well. I just get someone that Adam Cole could just have a good match with, that he could have short. Show us why we should love Adam Cole again. Don't give us a reason I want to like them both, but I know Daniel Garcia is going to lose. It's going to be after 15 minutes, and no one's going to get over, and nothing, and it's not going to get Hangman. Cole over, because it's just going to be another person that jobs all the time.
He doesn't job all the time.
When's the last time he won a match?
I mean, he technically beat Ricky Starks.
When?
Before, in the lead up to Jericho cost the match.
That's right. After he had 2 other matches.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter.
No, it does.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
I don't think so. He's a heel.
I'm saying heels have to look credible. He hasn't looked credible or important. He has not looked important in a year.
Important in a long time. Well,
he hasn't been important since him about to leave. Him about to leave the JS.
Yeah.
So maybe 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're gonna have a good match. I think it's gonna be a good time. I think it's gonna be fun. Then here's another thing that you really hated. Marvez walks into the Elite's locker room, and it's not good. I mean, it's not good. Kenny Omega's not good at acting. He's not good at acting. There's no doubt about it. So we'll just keep moving forward. Although there is
it
a
wasn't
nice
as bad after I rewatched it.
The seeds are planted here a little bit for some dissension between Don Callis and Kenny Omega, which we get to later in the show.
Yeah.
Stu Grayson in his first singles match back fights Jon Moxley in a good match. We knew Moxley was going to win. Moxley fucking kills him eventually, but Stu got some offense in, and it was fine. Yeah, okay. Renee's backstage with Ricky. Ricky talks about, be a man, don't be a man. Who cares? Just show up. I want to fight you. Shut up. So him and Juice are going to fight in 2 weeks. They're fighting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. But I will say, though, like, Ricky Stark sometimes in these interviews just comes off as such a chicken shit heel. It's like he's not trying to, but he's such a naturally whiny person.
Yeah. His voice is an interesting one. Yeah.
It's grating.
Then well, there's another QTV segment, which is just awful. And then Tony Storm wrestles Sky Blue, and what was a fine match. I know you're very anti Sky Blue, but I think she is a better wrestler than both Shotzi and the other one that I don't like.
I just watched it with 2 non-wrestling fans, and they're just like, why is she fake punching?
That's fair.
Real quick. I just have to get some of these comments in. Brooklyn Bleak says Dixie Carter equals Greta Thunberg. How dare you? Joe writes, according to Khan, if you didn't like Dynamite, you were either a troll or a bot or both. That's true. Troy Fusilier says, I need chapstick. Same, Doug. Brooklyn Bleak says, I wonder since Stokely's doctor note was written on the wing stop receipt because Rick Ross owns a ton of them. I don't know.
Oh, is that true? Rick Ross owns a ton of wing stops?
Tie him in. Brooklyn Bleak says, I heard that Danielson fought Thatcher because it was supposed to be Davey Richards, but due to his personal issues, they swapped. Danielson versus Richards would have been fun. Great. 2 former Ring of Honor champs. Yeah. That's interesting. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. We got 2 more segments here, Red. We got Stu Grayson is being checked on by the medical staff. Not very well either. They're not doing a very good job checking on him. And then Jon Moxley kills him. Just literally kills him because they're bad guys. They're bad guys.
So this guy that you just re-signed, this guy, Stu Grayson. You're like, hey, Stu, we made mistakes. We want to bring it back. We loses the first match back. He's the one who took the pinfall. No, what you gotta get a chance. Go back against Jon Moxley. Lose again. And then when you're getting taken care of in the back, you have the worst beatdown done to you in the history. He just chokes you and then he walks away. It was terrible.
Yeah. Well, that's how it be sometimes. It's just how it be sometimes.
You hate me.
No, I just, that's just how it be,
It's just how it be.
Not everybody gets signed to be superstars.
It's true. It's true.
But then we get to the main event featuring 2 superstars, in my opinion. Kenny Omega and El Hijo del Vikingo. By the way, earlier in the show, for someone like yourself, who's always complaining, like yourself, about how there's no video packages and no build, there's a video package about El Hijo del Vikingo on the prior Rampage, and then they also did a video package on Dynamite explaining who Vikingo was as well earlier in the night.
Rampage doesn't count because it has less views than Dark Elevation, so we can't count that. That's like doing a segment about Be Elite. We showed a video of Be Elite.
And that's the thing. They realized that, so they did another different video package also on tonight's Rampage.
Yeah, so that's the issue. It's just we getting these video packages the day of. It's just late homework to me. It should be weeks.
No, that's fine.
If you want to make them seem important, yeah. But
that made him seem important.
Not until the day of did it seem important.
Whatever. Also, we also need to understand. Whatever, it's fine.
Say.
No, it's fine. We're just gonna keep fighting about this, and the show's already at 90 minutes, so we got to keep rolling. Technically 80 minutes because someone was 10 minutes late. Anyway, we get a great match. This is a great match. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe this isn't everyone's cup of tea. Obviously, it's going to be very specific to a certain fan base. But Vikingo is obviously incredibly talented. Kenny obviously had his working shoes on, worked incredibly well, was selling his midsection incredibly well the whole match. Like, I know that a lot of people say that Kenny doesn't sell, but he sells, and he sold really well in this match. See how I said a lot of people and didn't just say you? It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this I thought was an excellent showcase for Vikingo, especially for people who are unaware of him before tonight. You saw that he can do, and he does things that are completely unique to him. Nobody else is doing some of the things that he's doing. So it was good to see. Ultimately, Kenny does take the pin, which is essentially the reason he takes the pin is to set up a rematch in Mexico, which is what AAA has always wanted. This match was supposed to happen in 2021, but Kenny was too hurt and couldn't ultimately fight him for the championship. He was going to lose to him in Mexico for the title because Kenny had been AAA champion for a long time. Kenny was too injured. So they have the match here, and now they'll have the rematch in AAA for the title where Vikingo will beat Kenny Omega. Because ultimately, this piece of business was for AAA. And ultimately, AAA, i.e. Conan, isn't thinking about wins and losses. He's just thinking, my guy gets all this exposure. And now we're guaranteed a match where Kenny will now fight Vikingo, and we'll have an even bigger audience because now there might be an American audience tuning in to the pay-per-view to now see Kenny versus Vikingo in a rematch from a show that was on national television.
Hear me out. I love the match. I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was a great match up until I feel the ending should have been different. I thought the finish should have been different because I don't think a clean win builds up a second match the way a different type of win does, because we just saw Kenny Omega beat him clean. There was no interference. There was nothing. He won. The better man is decided. There was no dispute. So there's no real need for a second match. I feel like this was a terrible way to build up a second match because it was so clean. I think, and this is what one of the non-wrestling fans thought when I was watching with them, and I told you this the other day, that table spot, which was beautiful, a 630 senton.
Yeah.
Beautiful 630 senton off the ropes into Kenny Omega through the table. And it should have been a double count out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have just been such a great way to expose the audience to Vikingo, not hurt Kenny at all, and be like, well, we got to have a second match. The fans wouldn't have booed at all. They would have been into it. If they just did that move and the ref starts counting and they're at 9 and they can't get up 10, they'll be like, oh, like they'll be like a little disappointed, but like happy, like, wow, that's a cool moment. You know, just seeing them go back in the ring and then do a one-winged angel for the win after nothing else, all that other stuff before didn't get it. The non-wrestling fans were just like, how did that finish them and those other things didn't?
Whatever. I understand, but also like this is WWE booking, right? Like how many times has the champion lost in a singles match to somebody so that person who beat him has now earned a title shot?
This is bad WWE booking.
Sure, yeah, I agree.
It's WWE booking.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good.
You did.
I'm just saying that's what they do. I'm saying I did say it's good, and you're right. It is good. Thanks, Fred, for agreeing with me.
It's not good. I'm wrong. You tricked me. It's duck season. You're right, Red. It was great.
Yeah, but then the thing that's not good is the post-match, right? Where Hangman shows back up in the ambulance and he's got 2x4 with some nails in it, which is like a funny thing. Now, him showing back up to help Kenny
not bad.
Isn't bad, but the execution here is the problem because he shows up in the ambulance, the crowd pops.
First you hear the sirens first.
Right.
For 30 seconds, you hear the silence.
When they see Hangman on the screen, the crowd pops. I'll give them that. The crowd popped for sure. But then it takes him about 30 seconds to get to even have his music hit. And then it takes another 30 seconds to a minute for him to get to the ring. So your momentum is gone at this point. And Blackpool Combat Club are boneheads, and they're just standing there kind of waiting for it to happen.
And by the way, yeah, Jon Moxley has the worst kicks in the history. During the segment where they're waiting, like you just see his kicks, so much light between them. Like that much.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't have anybody, like there's nobody else there. They all have to just beat up Kenny.
Yeah.
Which is a problem. And then what I think is the issue, I don't know whose fault it's everybody's fault, really, but like Don Callis grabs Hangman's arm, but Hangman does nothing to like push him off or anything. So Don Callis just bumps. And then Kenny turns around thinking that Hangman had hit Don Callis in the stomach with his nail 2x4, which again, in theory is fine if that's the story you're trying to tell, that Don Callis is trying to continue to keep a wedge between the two of them, fine. But Don Callis should have never touched Hangman, and he should have just taken a bump. But when he tries to reach out, and I think Hangman was also confused because he was like, "Well, am I supposed to? What am I supposed to do?" It just got real. I think Don Callis dropped the biggest ball here, but I think everybody, it was a mess across the board a little bit.
It would have been like if you heard him being like, "Don't do it, Hangman!" You're just screaming, "Don't do it, Hangman! Yeah. Please don't hit me! Don't hit me!" And the crowd heard like, and he's like, "What? What are you talking about? Don't hit me!" And then he just does the bump. Yeah. And then Kenny comes to, he's just like, "What?" And then he holds him, and then he gets in his face or like hits him or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anything that would have sold the job a little bit better than that.
But it was an interesting Dynamite. We have.
I like the seeds that are being planted.
There are good seeds being planted. I agree. There are good seeds, and I'm excited about Hangman having a good direction to go in his character. Brooklyn Bleak says similar styles in striking, grappling, endurance, wrestling, and build. Not sure what you're referencing. That was a while ago. Sorry about that. Super Bassman Fisherman's here. Superman Bass Fisher. Kenny Omega can go bye-bye. Ooh. Spicy. You're going to get some hate mail on this. Brooklyn Bleak says Stu Grayson equals the world needs ditch diggers too, you know. Brooklyn Bleak says they were hyping up this match on Dynamite back before his injury time off. That was what was that? A year and a half ago?
Yeah, at least.
Doesn't count. Brooklyn Bleak says there's going to be a Vikingo versus Commander match on upcoming Supercard of Honor pay-per-view. What a spectacle that will be. Yeah.
It's true.
You know what else is a spectacle? Cirque du Soleil. You should check it out, Brooklyn Bleak. Joe Redlet says, Truth Red, Khan needs to learn how to tell a story with his finishes. Superman Bastard says it was terrible. TK's booking and oversight of the company is killing his attendance and ratings. Yes, true. Very true. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Pass.
Okay. Brooklyn Bleak says that double countout would have been the definition of edging. Whatever. You're damn right it is. Let's fucking go, dog. Superman Bass Fisher says, I hope Action Andrade is okay. I do too. He's a good wrestler. Brooklyn Bleak says over Omega, but Andrade is good? Question mark. That's what he was talking to Superman Bass Fisher. Superman Bass Fisher says over Omega, but Andrade is good? That's a good point. You have to some explaining to do Superman Bass Fisher because Ken Omega is better singles than Andrade.
Match, though. Those two in a one-on-one, I'll see it.
Yeah. But we still have to talk about the road to WrestleMania, Roy.
Yeah, we do. But do we have time? I feel like we don't have time.
To talk briefly about the road to WrestleMania.
All right, let's just talk about the road to WrestleMania really quickly. We don't have to get into the individual shows, but what I want to quickly do is this is the last show, our last Sunday show before WrestleMania. So let's just talk about the card for WrestleMania and just you tell me if you're excited about these matches or not. We'll go one by one. You let me know what you think. You're going to be there live.
I'm going to be there live.
All right. So to open WrestleMania on night one, the very first match of WrestleMania, John Cena versus Austin Theory. Are you excited?
Yes.
You feel like the build has been good? Yes or no?
Moderate. I'm interested. It's gotten me interested rather than excited.
Sure. Yeah. Good call out.
Yourself?
Agreed. I think John Cena's promo was excellent, but it also shoots Austin Theory in the foot because he's got nowhere to go.
Dick. He's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, he's got no dick left. So,
yeah. Bray Wyatt
dick. Pulled his. The squirrel's got his dick.
Squirrel got me nuts.
The squirrel's got his dick. There's no doubt about it. Then we've got.
Hey, get that squirrel off my dick. He knows he's not allowed to come on my dick.
Roy?
That's Austin Theory right there. Let's keep going.
Squirrel! Roy, what did I do?
Brett, stop.
Everyone's talking about things.
It's fine. You're here.
Hello? I hear you. I hear you.
You made it. The next night or the next match that we have guaranteed for night one so far is Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. It's going to be a good match.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good match. Happy for the build. Excited for it. And I think Logan Paul is going over.
That's unfortunate.
I think he has to.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he doesn't. Seth Rollins has to win, but that's fine. Seth Rollins is a full-time wrestler. Logan Paul is a part-time wrestler. Yeah, no part-time wrestlers need to win.
Jake Paul's gonna help him.
Oh boy.
The Logan brothers. They're gonna be in WWE and they're gonna be fucking ruling the show. They're gonna be. I hate to say it. but Logan Paul in the main event sometime next year with the championship before the championship.
I mean, he's already main evented a pay-per-view for the championship.
Oh my God. Roy.
Is he part of the new bloodline? Is this what you're about to tell me?
No, he wins the championship at SummerSlam.
He beats Cody.
He beats Cody. He beats fucking Cody. The heat that would get a real wrestler losing to fucking Logan Paul, and he holds it all the way to Romania, where Sami Zayn, who won the Royal Rumble, beats him for it.
The next match that's scheduled for WrestleMania is
edging.
Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the title. Are you excited for this match?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Not for anything they're doing. It's just that I saw this match before and I liked it, but I am excited to see it in front of a live crowd, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. I don't necessarily like the build. I don't like the build.
The build hasn't been strong, but I think the match is gonna be good. And I feel the same way about the Raw Women's Championship match, which is gonna be Bianca Belair versus Asuka. On paper, sounds really fun. Will probably be really fun, but again, I don't think the build has been anything.
Worse build.
Yeah, even worse.
Yeah,
sure.
Rhea and Charlotte at least had some time.
Yep. This is fun, and I'm excited about this match. I actually watched the segment that fully built this matchup this past Friday for the IC Championship. Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus in a triple threat. That sounds fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
This is my jam. I love a big house fight, and all of them are from different areas of Europe, and they all just want to beat.
But you're okay with the triple threat match in this scenario because you usually hate triple threat matches.
I don't hate triple threat.
You hate multi-man matches.
I hate multi-man tags. I don't like multi-man tags. I like multi-man matches. I love a good fatal four-way, and I love a good triple threat when it's done when it makes sense, and this makes sense. Austria versus Ireland versus Scotland. I love it.
That's good. Good point. How about a Hell in a Cell match, which Edge versus Finn Balor? Are you excited for this match?
No.
Yeah, I feel like they've been building this match for like a year or two because Edge keeps getting hurt, and I feel like they've been building this for quite some time. So I will see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's a Hell in a Cell match, not at a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which is how it should be.
Yeah, there
should not be themed pay-per-views like that.
Yeah,
so I think that's fun. We have 2 WrestleMania showcase matches. You heard about this? Have you heard about this?
No, I don't even know what
They're 2 multi-person tag team matches. One is Raquel and Liv versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda and Shayna versus one more team to be announced. And the other is the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet.
No, these are the things I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand the point of these really, but I don't know, whatever. It exists. It's there.
Yeah, no love for this.
We got Brock Lesnar versus Omos, which actually should be kind of interesting.
I heard an interesting rumor that it would be kind of cool if they're having this match and then the entire Hurt Locker rejoins and beats the shit out of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, good idea.
And then that's the match. That the match is just that Bobby Lashley wins the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial.
Is he in that?
Yeah, it's been confirmed. And so then he does that. And I think that's the best way to going about it. Give Brock this MVP to feud with for a few months.
Yeah. Good idea. How about Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control? How do you feel about that?
Not have love.
Not into it. No love for it. All right. No. I think it should be a spectacle. We'll see. I think that match should be no holds barred. I think it should be. I think there should be plunder galore.
100%. 110%.
Give me all the
match
plunder.
that needs it. That's the match that needs it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Then we've got Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Father versus son. How do you feel about it?
I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm excited for it because honestly, this is gonna be a good showcase for Dominic, and I don't think who could showcase him better.
And I think I'm excited for Dominic to dress. I'm excited for his gear to be an homage to Eddie Guerrero, whatever it is. I'm excited for some Eddie.
Then Ray's gonna have a cool outfit too.
Yeah,
it's WrestleMania.
I'm excited for the gear for sure. Yeah. Then we got our 2 big ones, right? We've got the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag team titles, which I said off the record is probably the biggest tag team match in the history of WrestleMania. The biggest stakes. This is the first ever time I think that based on the build, because obviously TLC could main event any pay-per-view, but based on the build, this is the first time that a tag team match could main event a WrestleMania. Are you excited for this?
Roy, we had to talk about this early this week.
Yeah, we did.
And a long talk. It was yesterday. And I've done some thinking. And I have come to the conclusion you're right. You're right. Sami Zayn needs to win this match. And I'm very excited for this match. Because I was saying like, oh, if the Usos win, it'll help the bloodline. Jay needs it more, blah, 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 that type of stuff. But then I'm like, not everything. Okay, it was mentioned in the chat today. I like the edge. I want to do some edge, and I want to keep this going. But sometimes you just got to come. And I want Sami Zayn to come at WrestleMania. I want him to come all over WrestleMania. I want, honestly, the story of him and Kevin Owens. Like, basically, Sami Zayn was just looking for friends, and he found him in the bloodline, and they kind of betrayed him. And then he's like, I've always had a friend in you, and then we could have this match. And yeah, it's the most important tag team match in the history of the WrestleMania. And yeah, I think it should headline.
Do you think it should be the headliner for night 1 and Cody versus Roman is the headliner for night 2?
I think it should be the headliner for night 2. And I think Cody and Roman should open night 1. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go, dog. Let it be that.
Wow. I do think the way that they've built everything, this should be the main event of night 1. But I do think they have to main event night 1 with a women's match. But we'll see. But I agree.
You can.
I agree.
I just think it should be. You don't like the idea of Cody and Roman opening and having it. Is that bad?
If you're gonna wait for a man who's been champion for over 300 days to have like the longest title reign in modern history, like if you're gonna take the title off of him and intentionally wait to do it at a WrestleMania, don't let it open ridiculous. The show.
You're right. I'm completely dumb. And that was a dumb thing to say. Yeah,
that's funny. But then that leads to our final match that's been announced for the card so far, which is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Are you excited for this match?
Of course. I'm beyond excited. I can't wait for this. Honestly, these two matches that you just mentioned are the highlights. And fortunately, the Bloodline need to lose both. Yeah. But I can say, I just thought of an idea though, because like I want a backstage segment, right? Where he's just like, Roman Reigns is saying to the Usos backstage while they're at WrestleMania. This is at WrestleMania. I'm going to need you two to be outside the ring during the Cody match. I'm going to need and Solo Sikoa. I'm going to need you three to be there, be there and support. And then Jay's like, okay, but will you be outside for ours? And he's like, I have to get ready for the match.
Right.
And then he's just like, what? You see Roman Reigns maybe come out sometime during the match. He walks out and watches, but then he just leaves because he has to get ready. And that they end up losing. And then when they are out there and the Bloodline's all out there, the first thing that the Bloodline does at the start of the match is they walk out.
That's nice.
It's just Roman and Cody, and Roman's got no one left behind him. And that's the match starts. It's like Cody's like, that's all I needed.
Okay. Yeah.
No puffery at the end.
I'm not opposed. to that.
And that gives the reason to betray him the next night. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, WrestleMania, the final two matches that we just discussed are probably the best built matches for a WrestleMania in a decade, if not more.
Yeah.
This is exactly how a WrestleMania should be booked.
Since Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah. Which is almost a decade.
8 years, 9 years.
Yeah. So that's WrestleMania. And let's just skip to the Hall of Fame since we're running out of time.
Yeah, let me just go through the comments real quick.
Yeah.
Superman Bass Fisher. I said hope Ashton Andretti is okay. He wants him in the Blackpool Combat Club, and then says Claudia can trim him up a bit. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't think he's got that edge to him. But Joe writes, Red's going to Mania. Jealous. Should have gone when it was in Jersey years ago. Joe, I have an extra ticket. Joe, head out here. I have an extra ticket. It is hard to sell. They're not going as much as we thought they were.
I'm surprised by that.
Brooklyn Bleak says the one time I hope WWE would use match interference would be for Seth Rollins versus Paul. The one time I hope WWE would use match interference would be Seth Rollins versus Paul. Oh, you want someone to jump? Oh yeah, it's gonna be Jake Paul. Joe writes, they all going down promoting crypto scams. What are you talking about? Who's promoting crypto scams? Do you know what that means, Roy?
Oh, no idea.
Superman Best Action 100. Superman Best loves Action 100. Is young. He can learn still. Kenny is okay, but gets pushed down our throats. And I could name 10 better people to put a title on. Oh God. Then writes, I don't like Charlotte as a babyface. She's a perfect heel. I usually don't like Triple Threat. Heard Naomi officially left WWE. Has she ever been on WWE TV? Has she? Yeah, of course she's been on WWE TV. We love Naomi. But yeah, she's officially gone. You heard about that, Roy.
Yes,
Brock versus Omos could be a good match if Brock can get Omos to stick to the basics. It's going to be, I honestly think it's going to be a beatdown. Then says, why isn't this headlining night one? Usos versus KO and Sammy. Man, why? Why does the women's match get main event status of the night one? Because they deserve it. And we should be doing that. And then says they aren't the draw. Sammy's story with the Usos is way bigger match, and now will be overshadowing this women's division. Superman Bass Fisher.
I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, but they're a bigger draw because they've just been booked better. Like the build to these women's matches have not been booked well.
Yeah. It's a lot. Joe says Paul Bros heavily promoted the scam known as FFX. Oh, that's right. They FTX. That's true. That's true. But and then we have the Hall of Fame, Roy.
Yeah, Red, you didn't give me anybody to induct, so I
did.
inducted someone on your behalf. When?
I did.
When? Where?
It was in my news photos order in Hall of Fame.
Was it really? Who did you induct?
The Usos.
What? Oh, well, I inducted CM Punk on your behalf.
Damn. You didn't deserve it. Well, he does deserve it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that fucking him and Shawn Michaels fucking tonguing it and fucking across the country. Damn.
Yeah, so Jazz, if you want to go to that first slide for me, for Roy, it's Sting. I inducted Sting into this week's Hall of Fame.
You did it last week.
Let's go, Sting. That's not true. I didn't induct Sting last week. I've inducted Sting before, and then Jazz, real quick, hit the other slide. The picture that I chose for CM Punk is very fun. So pick that CM Punk photo. It is the CM Punk dressed as Sting when they tag together.
Oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet. And everyone sound like a million people for the March 26th Loser Leaves Wrestling Weekly Hall of Fame Sting and CM Punk.
And the Usos unofficially. I did put it in there. I was good this time. I believe it.
Thank you all so much for joining us. This was a roller coaster ride. A real, I started the gate off real hot with me being late, and then Roy just hammering into me with his eyes, just wishing I was dead.
That's not true.
I'm in the chat. You guys aren't. He's coming after me.
What are you talking about?
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Snap nut? What'd you call me? Snap nut. You know you called me. Yeah, you snap nut.
Join us on the Discord. Go to loserleavespot@gmail.com. Everyone have a great night.
Why are you yelling at me?
Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me?
Why are you yelling at me?
Give us our countdown.
Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me?
It's Brittany, bitch.
Oh, man.
Olay. 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 Olay.